Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second episode of the Renegade Roundtable. I'm Jeff Kirby. We got Stone. And we also got our third co-host who wasn't with us last week. We got Caleb.
What's up?
How are we doing on this beautiful Thursday?
It's raining here.
It's raining there? It's not raining by us.
Right now, yeah, it's beautiful where we're at.
It's beautiful out. Good day for a ball game.
What's up, Jared? I see. Make sure also for everyone who is watching, I'll be watching the chat as well. I don't know if they're going to be watching the chat or not, but I definitely will be. So if you guys...
I am, yeah.
Okay. So Stone is as well. So if we're watching, as my mom gives out hearts, I appreciate you, Mama. Love you.
Yes.
But yeah, if you got something you want to say, comment down below. We'll be watching the comments and we'll get at it. But before we get started, Caleb, you weren't with us last week, so this is your debut here on the Renegade Roundtable. Before we get started, tell us a little bit about you.
Let's see. I love the Pittsburgh sports area. That's where my family's from, so big Pittsburgh sports fan. Currently live in Cleveland, which is kind of unfortunate, but only for 55 more days. I love minor league sports. That's my thing. That's my little calling card. I love pretty much any minor league sports team around. I go to minor league baseball like a 50-year-old and sit and watch. I listen to baseball on the radio. That's what I do. Coach youth sports. I'm a strange guy, so not really that interesting.
So real quick, also, you mentioned how you're a big minor league person. Someone that is another person on our station, his name is Paul. You would love him because he loves minor league baseball. Dude,
minor league baseball is my thing. Like the Frontier League, the Independent League, I travel to all those teams like a weirdo every year. No one understands why, but I do. I travel to all the different stadiums. So
if it's not Fernando Tatis Jr. or Trevor Bauer, I don't care. I'm just kidding. No, Trevor Bauer is probably my favorite player in baseball. I'll admit that, but
Trevor Bauer is probably my favorite non-Pirate.
I don't. I would, if I had to choose who my favorite Pirate would be, I couldn't even tell you. I'll be honest. I don't know nothing. I know nothing about Pirates baseball as of now. But since we're starting to do this, I feel I am obligated to have to get into them a little bit. So
you should.
But obviously, as you guys saw before the show, I'm an Indians fan. So right under this jersey, I got on my Raise the Flag 2016 shirt from when we went to the World Series. And yeah, go ahead and drop the comments. The 3-1 jokes. Haha, very funny. But yeah.
We don't need to make 3-1 jokes. How'd you do last weekend?
So let's get into the breaking news that happened.
Anyways.
About an hour and a half ago with the release of David DeCastro. This was something that for some people, they were a little surprised, and there were some that kind of saw this coming. I'll start off with you guys. What are your initial thoughts on this? Because this is big.
I'm not surprised, to be honest with you.
Caleb?
I'm surprised it happened now, but I'm not surprised that they moved on from him after last year. It's just weird that it's now they moved on from him, but I'm like kind of dying to know like what else has come out about this story too, and not just that he's cut.
Right.
Like there's got to be some reason they picked June 24th to cut this guy.
Well, supposedly it was an outside football injury.
Interesting.
Is what they've released now. So I'm wondering if he's re-injured his ankle, maybe,
it could
or
be.
if just something else, and he's just kind of calling it a day.
Well, remember too, we had a scenario about a month ago with what was it, Jawan James from the Broncos? I believe that was his name.
Mm-hmm.
Who what was it, tore his ACL or tore his Achilles, and from the outside injuries and for outside of the facility, he got cut, loses out on a bunch of money. Now, the scenario with that was obviously he lost out on a bunch of money working out outside of the facility, which we could have a whole debate on that because me and Kayla, we live in Cleveland, so we hear all about the J.C. Treader, who is the president of the Players Association, who's also the center for the Clowns. Yeah, I had to do that.
Clowns.
You hear all about the negotiations and blah blah blah, and I've heard about it and I've talked about it on JKP, but at the same time, he had 1 year left on his deal, so he was going to be a free agent this offseason anyway. We've been now leaked to Trey Turner, who's 28 years old, from the Chargers, so maybe this could have happened regardless. We don't know, but this is just interesting at the fact of, like you said, when it happened. And in reality, why it happened.
I think there's more to the story than we know, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm just not. I think I'm with you, Caleb. Honestly, like I'm not shocked that it happened. I'm not surprised. I don't think that it's as horrible as Twitter is trying to make it out to be. In a sense, I'm grateful for everything that he's done. I think he is a valued player. But there's obviously some things going on that we don't know about, and it could be injuries, it could be behind the scenes, business stuff. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we won't. But I think I'm glad that, we can part ways before he did get really hurt.
Right. And also one thing that we got to take into consideration with this as well is, we open up $8.5 million or almost not $8.75 million in the cap. So now we have $16.5 million in cap space, which is interesting too, because you remember going into this offseason, we did nothing. It was terrible.
We were in debt to somebody.
And now you have $16.5 million in cap. That's very interesting because also we got to remember too, we are projected to have like 70-something million in cap space next season. Now, obviously, it helps that the fact that Big Ben's contract is going to be off the books, and that helps out a lot. You're going to have to pay T.J. Watt. That's just happening. Minkah Fitzpatrick's going to be a guy here very soon you're going to have to worry about signing. So those are all things you're going to have to take into consideration with this as well. And also, we've been linked to Malik Hooker as well, and Terrell Edmonds, who didn't get his fifth year option picked up. Now he's going to be a free agent. This is a contract year for him. So there's a lot of different scenarios with this as well. Jared here in the comments said, I hate to see it, but meaning we'll probably sign Turner and a couple other pieces. Where also DeCastro's 31, Trey Turner's 28. So you get younger, but you still get a guy who's a 5-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah, you're not losing out on that veteran if you can bring in, say, Trey Turner,
who has Super Bowl experience as well. Because remember, he was on that 2015 Carolina team that went to the Super Bowl and lost. They lost to Denver, but still, you have that experience. From 2015 to 2019, he was a Pro Bowler, so 5 straight years of being a Pro Bowler. And last year, he only played in 9 games because he was dealing with the groin injury. So you look at that and. That's not. It's sad to see because we're emotionally attached to David DeCastro just because of how good he's been. He's been consistently one of the best guards in the NFL, and losing someone like that hurts. But then you also look at it as I think we're starting to get into the phase of we got to start retooling this offensive line a little bit, and you might as well go ahead and do it a little bit ahead of time rather than get in a scenario where you're going to have an older offensive lineman and pay him a lot of money.
Well, and then think about it too, if we waited and say he did get hurt, he did re-injure himself halfway through the season.
Yeah.
It's just like, at least we've got the time now to resolve this issue. We've got some time instead of it being in the middle of the season.
Yeah, it's
not my favorite thing, but I think it's like you're saying, like we're emotionally tied to him, and right. I think that it makes it harder to look past that and look at the facts behind it.
And also now this is the fact that we've lost 4 offensive linemen this offseason. Because we lost Pouncey to retirement. We lost Villanueva to Baltimore. We lost DeCastro now to being released. And then Matt Filer went to the Chargers, getting 3 years, $21 million. So you lose 4 offensive linemen, and now you bring on the fact of, all right, who's your offensive line going to be? And this is projecting that at the fact that you're going to get Trey Turner. We're going to assume that this happening means that you're going to sign Trey Turner, because if you don't, well, then that brings a lot of question marks, unless it was just something internal that became beyond repair, which I highly doubt. You project that your offensive line is going to be Zach Banner at left tackle, Dotson at left guard, Kendrick Green, who's a rookie, at center, Trey Turner at right guard, and then you have a Okorafor at right tackle. So that right there, it could be a little concerning. Maybe this year, the last year of Ben, but down the line, that could be something good.
I'm gonna step out of that and say it might be a little concerning. However, I'm going to be optimistic, which is rare for me to be optimistic. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's going to happen and see people who are hungry to make a name for themselves. See people who want to be, just as loved as DeCastro, who want to be, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
who just want it.
Yeah. Caleb, you want to chime in? Because I feel like you haven't chimed in that much.
No,
I don't want to make you feel like you're like. You said what?
I was just letting you guys go there for a second. Yeah, I kind of agree. I like the fact that they are younger, especially with, say, Najee Harris coming in, that this line can really, like, gel together and be for him, and we don't have a shakeup in the middle of his 4 to 5 years here. So, and I mean, the line's not that bad, especially if we can bring in, a Trey Turner. And DeCastro had a down year last year, and he was kind of pissed off that there was no fans there, and it seemed like there was a little bit of draw. Like, he just kind of seemed off and was like he wasn't all there. He seemed like he was a part of our last group of line, and he was with them, and he is now the only guy left. And like, it's, to me, the move makes sense. I'm still surprised it happened now if we don't get, say, a Trey Turner, but with the Trey Turner talks that it broke, like, last week we were having visits with him, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then it seemed like, okay, it seems like something might happen. Still surprised it happened now, but I'm not like, ultimately, this is a good move for Steeler football down the line, especially for a running game and our line, which was a big problem last year.
Yeah. And also, one thing, too, when we look at David DeCastro, I think one thing, too, that helps out is I feel like a lot of people in sports say the best ability is availability. Well, David DeCastro, in 2012, he was a rookie. He only played in 4 games. But you look, after that, 2013, played in 15 games. 2014, played in all 16. 2015, played in all 16. 2016, played in all 16. 2017, played in 15. 2018, played in 14. 2019, played in all 16. In 2020, you played in 13. So in that stretch, you only missed 7 games. And you had a 3-year stretch where you played in all 16 games. So that helps too. But I like what you said too, is he kind of felt like he was a part of that old group where you had Villanueva, Ramon Foster, Pouncey, DeCastro, and when it was Marcus Gilbert as well, when that was considered arguably one of the best offensive lines of football, going up against that Dallas Cowboys offensive line, who people are raving about. And I think one thing too we got to take into consideration as well is offensive line is not something that's going to just gel overnight. It's going to take some time. So you got to be a little bit patient, and it's going to be a little bit of a process. Now, I will say next year they're going to get better. Then the year after that, they're going to get even better if you're able to stick with this group, and that will help the future out of the offense, because now you figure out you're going to get a young quarterback, which is something that we discussed last week, whether it's going to be Dwayne Haskins, whether it's Mason Rudolph, whether it's a guy you draft. You have that
Everybody
kind of
knows how I feel about Rudolph. Go ahead, carry on.
Hi, Hunty. Yeah, and then you have your running back who is going to be young. You have a young wide receiver core who is very good. Juju, he's on a 1-year deal. I'm kind of starting to get the feeling unless he has a very good year, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. A lot of people are kind of feeling that he's going to be gone after this year. That'll be, I guess, up to just a mixture of money and all that, blah, blah, blah. We all know that. Chase Claypool, he's another young guy. He's very good. Deontay Johnson. So you still have a strong, young core of offense. And then this defense is, the defense, it's going to be good regardless. So there's going to be some promise.
You can be sad. Like, people are saying, we're losing these linemen. We're losing our offense. We're losing these starters. It wasn't that good last year, you guys.
Exactly.
I mean, as much as you love them, that's great. But, I mean, that doesn't win football games. So.
Yeah. And one thing, too, is you got
not to be that person, but.
You're kind of right. You when you look at this, too, you have to look at – so you have a great defense. Mm-hmm. You can't waste that. You can't waste that defense where you still have T.J. Watt, who's still a younger guy. He's still going to be a core piece of this defense for years to come. You still have some older guys on this too. Joe Hayden, he's up there. He's in the 30s. Tyson Oluwalu, he's in his 30s. So you still have some guys who are getting older, but a lot of your core pieces, T.J. Watt, Devin Bush, Minkah Fitzpatrick, those are all very young guys who are going to be a part of this team, we hope, for years to come.
And it's also spaced out well enough, like you were saying, like you do have some guys who are getting older and you do have the younger guys. It's spaced out well enough that you can bring in new guys to replace those older guys, and we've got time to teach them. You've got time for them to gel with the defense. You've got time. It's not going to be like you're not going to have to build a whole new defense.
Right.
Hopefully.
And one thing that I always look at, too, is you look back at the Super Bowl runs from, 05, the 05 season and the 08 season. Those teams had great defenses, and the offense was they're not top 10 offenses, but they weren't terrible. They were about middle of the road. But also at that time, you could get away with a middle of the road offense and a great defense.
And the 2015 Broncos.
In 2021, you can't get away with that. If you have a middle of the road offense and a great defense, that's not going to get you where you want to go. It's not going to get you to the promised land. We're in an era now where offense is you have to have a good offense. You have to have a good quarterback. And that's one thing that I'm a little, I'll be honest, I'm a little concerned because I feel like a lot, and I said this going into last year, and I'm definitely going to say this into this year. The success or lack of success will be based on Ben Roethlisberger. It's going to be based on, A, is he going to stay committed to the game plan of Matt Canada? Is he going to go back to his ways of, it's going to be what I want to do, where, yeah, you lose out on sacks. You were the least sack quarterback in the NFL, but you start off 11-0, and then you became the most predictable offense. And now
we're not having this argument again. We had this argument last week. We're not doing this again because I'm not standing for this slander today. So,
well, you're gonna have to learn today
because that's not what he said. And if you think
I'm
about
not going back on the comment though. I'm just saying in general, it's a perspective that I got also before even that comment. It was a perspective of he kind of felt like he wanted to do his own thing, and you saw where that got it. This isn't, again, this is like I said last week, this isn't 2014 where you're able to do that. And I could trust you to do that because you also have the arm to be able to sling the rock down the field to Antonio Brown or Martavis Bryant. And I could trust you with that. This is 39-year-old quarterback of Ben Roethlisberger who we really don't know his arm strength. Now, again, this is a year away off or another year past that injury, past the surgery. I'm not going to say that his arm strength is going to get, significantly stronger, but it might actually, that time might have helped a little bit. And we'll see. It'll go back to the game plan.
I think it's more about the trust in the O-line. For me personally, that's what, I mean, if I in my late 30s and had just had major elbow surgery and my O-line was not protecting me, I would not want to get hit either. I'm sorry.
Right.
I would not.
And do I blame him for that? No, because at the same time, it also kind of derailed things a little bit with the offense. It made the offense very stale. It also didn't help with the fact that we didn't really the run game was non-existent. That didn't help.
There were a lot of other issues.
Also, but there was just a multitude of things. And when you have an offense who is having issues, the first person you're also going to go to is the quarterback. It's just natural for us as football fans where if you have issues with the offense, boom, quarterback.
But with that being said, that can take you back to the argument of the Matt Canada comment on what does the quarterback see? What does he see? He's got to get the ball somewhere. So it ultimately is his decision on where we put the ball.
But that might change this year because now there is a better chance that we might have a run game. Because when you look at the beginning part of that season, where, like I said last week too, where James Conner was having stretches of getting 100-yard games, the run game was there. So now you're putting your defense on putting the defense on their toes, and now you can do more things with the offense. So I'm not saying 100% of that is on Ben Roethlisberger because it was a group thing, but I also believe at the same time he was a big part of it because he's the captain of the offense. He's a quarterback, and so now we'll see what happens. Is Najee Harris going to be that big of a difference? Time will tell. How is this offensive line going to gel? Time will tell. How is the true relationship between Matt Canada, Ben Roethlisberger, and Mike Tomlin going to work out? Time will tell.
I just want to see Mike Tomlin smile this year.
So we had 3 comments four, all from my friend Hunter. He says, your sunglasses are cute. Well, thank you. When are you guys going to talk about the clowns? Never. Martavis Bryant, the GOAT. He was nasty here until he couldn't stay off the Wii. Oh, sorry. And wasn't Bryant the one who had the nasty touchdown catch against Cincinnati in the playoffs? Yes. But yeah, again, it goes back to time will tell. And it's going to be how will the offense go down the stretch.
I'm excited. I don't care what anybody says. I'm excited.
Oh, don't get me wrong. We're all excited.
Dude, this is the most excited I've been about a Steelers season in years.
Yeah.
Oh, every year it's the newest. Every year it goes higher. So last year I was here, which was the highest. Now I'm here. Next year I'll be here.
Stop it. Anyways, now that we've had that debacle.
Can you use that in a sentence?
I just did. I literally just did.
Can you spell that for me?
No, I cannot. I don't.
Oh, I forgot. This is a Pittsburgh weekly show that we're doing, not the United States spelling bee.
I know. What is this? A spelling bee? Anyways, moving forward with that.
Yeah, moving forward. What was originally going to be our opening topic tonight was the other sad news that we got, that the training camp of Pittsburgh will not happen at St. Vincent College. It's in Latrobe. It is going to be a mixture of the training facility and Heinz Field. Very upset.
I'm interested to hear your comments. Go ahead, carry on.
Personally, I was upset. I'll get to your comment here in a second, Hunter. I was very upset because I have been trying to go to a training camp for the last few years. I never got to go to Latrobe. But I'll take whatever it's going to be. If I have to go to Heinz Field for a training camp, so be it. I've been there once for it was for the Fan Fest in 2017. That was fun. But it's not going to be the same in Latrobe. But at the same time, it is what it is. But what's ironic about this is the Steelers got denied their access to go to the St. Vincent, but Kansas City got approved for theirs. So that's a little.
See, that's what I don't understand and has frustrated me this entire time with like across the board with sports, with like the COVID stuff. Is I understand why you're doing it, but like let's make a level playing field for everybody.
Right.
Let's not deny some and allow others and just no comment. This is what we're doing.
Right.
Deal with it.
I'm gonna get to the comments here after what I'm about to say. So Brooke Pryor from ESPN said her tweet this morning was Steelers' plan for St. Vincent being denied a day after the Chiefs were granted approval for St. Joe's makes this news sting a little more. So that it's a little upsetting. So some of the comments we got, Hunter, going back to what we were talking about earlier, is offensive line is going to be interesting. Totally new up front. It's literally going to be the O-line and how good Najee is in year one. That's going to be a part of it. Terrible news about training camp. I was also planning on going to training camp as well in Latrobe. Terrible. It's sad, but, I mean, at this point, there's nothing we can do about it.
I have certain feelings about the entire situation as somebody who worked in the middle of COVID, in healthcare. But I'm also very concerned with what you guys were saying and what's been floating around is why were they denied but other people weren't? That's probably more upsetting than anything else. If it was consistent across the board, it would make more sense. But the fact that it's not is upsetting, and it's like we'll keep it consistent. If we're gonna do it, let's do it.
So also part of this tweet too from Brooke Pryor was each campus has different setups for hosting, but transparency from the league on why one was approved and the other wasn't would be helpful.
Exactly, because if it's different protocol for every university in every state, and okay, that's fine, that's one thing, but as of right now, that's not what it looks like. It looks like it's the league.
Yeah, like I want to know why. I want to know why this happened and not just it happened. Deal with it.
So if it's the league, then we want to know. We want to know why those two teams are being treated differently. But if it's because of every campus has its own protocol, that's something that the league obviously can't control. I get that. I respect that. Okay, that's fine. But somebody needs to say something because it just looks sketchy right now.
Yeah, it's sad, but I guess it is what it is at this point. I can't sit here and cry a river for it because, I mean, all that's good. At this point, you know where you're going to go. We're going to get the schedule for fans here soon. It's time to get to work.
I mean, and I completely want all the players and their families to stay healthy and to stay good. I don't want us to go back with no fans or whatever, all of that situation. I'm glad we're progressing forward. So if this is what we have to do, then this is what we have to do, but just make it make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us why. It's not hard.
Yeah. That's it. You could just say, hey, it was us, or hey, it wasn't us. I mean, we don't, it doesn't need to be a big deal. We don't need a press release, nothing. Just why.
Yeah. Just put a statement out on why and call it a day. Well, most likely because right now it's the way our mindset too is, and do I think this is happening? Obviously not. But you have the mindset of is, okay, well, Pittsburgh doesn't get to have this kind of access, but Kansas City, who has probably the best player in football in Patrick Mahomes, the new golden boy of the NFL, and they get to do it. I mean, you'll have those thoughts on, oh, Patrick Mahomes will get what he wants, but Pittsburgh won't. I mean, you'll get those comments, but in reality,
conspiracy theories are insane.
Yeah, the conspiracy theories are going to be off the charts with that. But like I said, you gotta do what you gotta do. You know where you're gonna go. Get to work, and let's find a way to get to 7. It's a Super Bowl number 7.
We'll do it.
Now, do we got anything else on that before we get maybe a little controversial?
Everything's about to take a hard left right now. Go ahead.
So, and the only reason why I say controversial is just because anytime you get involved in this kind of topic, it's going to get controversial.
It has the ability to, yeah.
So, Las Vegas Raider defensive end Carl Nassib. He came out on a video earlier this week coming out as gay, which is, for me personally, I was a little shocked at it. I mean, I think we were all caught by surprise at it, but the way I looked at it was, good for you. That makes you happy. And I think it was good that a lot of the NFL community came together and, in support of him. Also, at one point in time, he had the highest selling jersey.
Good for him.
And I know everyone's gonna have their different political views on this, which it is what it is. That's how it's gonna be with basically any topic. You could get political with anything, and especially with something like this. But this is kind of another unfamiliar situation that we're in, because in reality, this is only the second time that I can remember that we had a player come out as gay and open up about it, where we had Michael Sam come out about it in 2013, and now you have Carl Nassib in 2021. I've seen a bunch of comments on this, a lot of good and definitely a lot of bad, which you knew it was going to come. It was going to bring a lot of publicity. It was going to bring a lot of different stuff with it, but I mean, what else do you expect with that kind of comment?
I mean, I'm definitely surprised that it was him of all people that came out, because there's got to be others.
Yeah.
Especially now so I'm interested to see, like, who's the next one. Is it going to be another, 6-7 years before we see another one? Probably not. But, like, when will the next person come out? Because I hope this, like, I'm of the view is, like, good for this guy, He should not have had the pressure to, if he's feeling that, stay in, like, this mindset of, I'm an NFL player, I got to be this tough guy and can't come out about it because people are gonna react differently. Like, it's good for him for expressing himself about it. I just am interested to see how, like, the league reacts to it with other players around, and see if him coming out is not who's going to step up with him. Is it just going to be a target on just him, or who's else going to follow him there?
Stone?
I think that it's great for him, honestly. I think that it was a fantastic way for him to use his platform. I think a lot of the hate that came from it was, you knew you were going to get it. I mean, it's social media, for one. It's, there are tons of keyboard warriors. There were people who were saying they weren't going to support the NFL anymore. They weren't going to support the Raiders, yada, yada, yada. That's great. We don't care. I think it's awful that it had to be an announcement, and it had to be such a big deal, because it shouldn't be. Like, kind of like Caleb was saying, like, who's going to support him? Who's going to stand by his side? And you don't have to be of any, sexual preference to support him. You can be any kind and say, you shouldn't have to be afraid to be yourself. It has nothing to do with his performance as a football player. It has nothing to do with any of that. I think it's good to see somebody who is of that caliber, who is an athlete, who is supposed to be masculine and all these other things that we make them, use his platform to say, it's okay. It's okay. Now, he probably saved lives.
Now, there is so many avenues that you can go with this. You can go on the fact of, well, he could possibly think, is this going to affect my job security? Mm-hmm. Could this potentially put a target on my back yet, in terms of, am I going to possibly get cut? Now, that would be a very bad look. Now, unless he either did something criminal, or he just was flat out just beyond terrible in camp, him getting released like that would be a very bad look on the NFL and the LGBTQ community. Mm-hmm. You could go on the avenue of, like you just said, that could have saved lives. There's a lot of people who are afraid to open up about it because they don't know how the reaction is going to be. Because
especially men, there's a stigma for men to have any kind of
emotion,
anything. Really, yeah, anything.
Well,
You know, it's such a thing to have any kind of depression or and anything at all, anxiety. I think him taking a stance to say you can speak your truth was
yeah,
good for everybody.
yeah. It's you should be able to be happy
Hmm.
if, and that's that. If you are happy with yourself, then good for you. I support you 100%. One thing too about this as well is you're gonna obviously get the immature people. You have the immature kids where I think you just kind of throw them to the side because they're just gonna be immature kids. You have the grown men who are gonna look at this as a political side. I've seen comments from people saying, "Oh, he's only doing this so he can. It's a publicity stunt, and he's just trying to grow his name." Where I highly doubt that's the case, and I don't think that would be something that you would do for that. And also, now he's gonna be a spokesman for this kind of deal. This is a monument. I think in today's world, it's a monumental moment because in the world of social media has grown exponentially compared to what it was in 2013 when Michael Sam came out. Where, I mean, that was big, but I feel like that also kind of just got shoved under the rug. Now, in today's community, in today's world, it's a big deal. And I think also in a world where it's so negative, it's effortless to just say mean things and be mean to people. It's good to spread positivity, and if he can make positive out of this where he's becoming a happier person, he feels like he has a weight off of his shoulders, that's a good thing.
Hmm.
There's so many avenues that you could go with this. And I've of course you see a lot of the same stan accounts on Twitter use the same jokes that I'm not going to say on here because we got to keep this PG, but you could probably get the gist of the jokes I'm talking about. But what is wrong with people being happy? Because for the most part, we all went through the phase growing up about making the immature jokes and blah blah blah. But as you grow older, you grow to believe that you should be able to be happy, and there's nothing wrong with that as well. And then, like I said earlier, people are going to put political stuff into this, which, again,
I agree with you that people will put political stuff into this. I don't understand how this is political, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand how they reach for that. This has nothing to do with that. This is him just trying to be happy and speak, and, you know, speak his truth and be himself.
Yeah, this should not be political in any way. And I mean,
Exactly.
I personally don't agree with like what he's doing in his lifestyle, but I 100% support this guy, and I hope that there's more that come out very quickly after this too. Not like saying, "Oh, I hope there's more that come out. There needs to be more," but I hope the ones that are there, because I believe that truly through sports there are. I hope that they feel like it's okay and they're allowed. They can speak up about it and
The
join
safety.
in. Yeah, and it's not just like they're going to get a target on their back and get shut down. Because
Hmm.
I can't wait to see the next one. And I want to support that guy fully as well, even though I don't agree with his lifestyle. But it's like I 100% support that guy, and I would wear his jersey tomorrow if I had one.
And that's such a good thing to see because it's, you know, it's absolutely free to like worry about yourself. You know what I mean? It's, you don't have to agree with everyone's lifestyle, but you also don't have to go out of your way to attack those people. You don't have to spend your own time when you could be working on yourself to hate those people. They didn't come to your house, you know? So it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, people.
Unless they're Flyers fans, we can hate
yeah,
them.
that's different. That's a different thing.
Well, for me, it's also Michigan fans, but
But
Yes.
I think I agree with what you said, and I like the way that you said it, especially because you don't agree with it, but you still support him 100%. I respect that you will say that.
Yeah, and I come from the political side that I should like other people I know that agree with me are all over attacking this, and I'm just like, dude, you're crazy. Like, who? This isn't political. Who cares? Fully support this guy because he's another person. He's a living, breathing person who has. It should not be shut down because he doesn't agree with you.
or a part of the cancel season that kids nowadays like to use.
Cancel culture is the dumbest thing in the world. I can't stand cancel culture.
There's such a big difference between cancel culture and just not supporting something you don't agree with. Like, I don't know why we have to. People don't. It's just like we talked about last week. When you constantly retweet these things, and you're like, cancel this, cancel that. You're literally just making it bigger than it already is. You could just not purchase those things or not. You know what I mean? Like, just don't support it on your own. When you blow it up like that, people pay attention to it.
Yeah.
You're making it bigger. You're helping them and making yourself look ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's what I don't like about cancel culture is a lot of stuff is blown way out of proportion for what it actually should be.
Just like a funny thing is you know when that WAP song came out and I had never heard that. I don't listen to the radio. I listen to Spotify all the time. So I had never heard it. I saw it all over Twitter and I was like, oh, well, you guys don't want me to listen to it. So what's the first thing that I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go listen to it. I mean, hello.
Yeah, there definitely is a movement of like there's like the idea and the mindset of doing it for attention and blowing things up, but I don't think this is what this guy's doing with coming out and I 100% support this guy, even though I don't support his lifestyle at all. I 100% support him as a player. I mean, dude's a beast of a player. I like him now. He's not on the Browns, but I mean, the fact that he came out, he donated like a ton of stuff to, I forget the name of the organization, but it is like a suicide prevention organization for youth of that community. He donated a ton of money, and then like one of the brands has come out and saying that they're donating from stuff from his sales of his jersey, because I think he led the NFL in jersey sales.
Yeah,
ever since that happened.
Yeah.
And so like good for that guy, and that's like awesome that he's doing that and build like being someone in that community can rely on and realize like and not be so like stuffed out just because they're not the mainstream community. Like good for this guy. I'm 100% all over him coming out of this, and I really hope the more athletes that are out there, like professional athletes, I hope there's more that come out very quickly after this.
And this whole situation, I think, turns into something even bigger than just this, and it's fans always want to be so. It's like there's no in between. They either want to know everything about athletes, or the comment that I see most of the time is, we'll just go play football. We don't care. Just play football. Well, they're still humans. They're still people. They still have families and, friends and lives. It's not, you can't just go play football. And then you've got the other ones who want the extreme. They want to know everything about them. They want to know so much information, or something happens, like when there is assault involved, they want to know the background. They want to know this, and then they come out with, oh, well, he beat up his significant other because he's got mental illness. Well, we didn't know. Well, that's because you shun people who tell you anything about themselves.
Yeah, it's a world of hypocriticism. It's you want to know everything, you get to know a little something, and then you say you don't care, go play football.
You want to know the pretty stuff. You want to know the stuff that benefits you.
Yeah. Stuff that's going to make you happy, instead of knowing, I guess, the cold hard facts on things too, where sometimes the facts hurt. You don't want to know them, but again, the truth hurts. It's sometimes the truth hurts at times. It is what it is. It's a part of it.
It's not always pretty. It's not always fun to look at.
I mean, that right there, and like knowing about a player and their personal life and like actually caring about the person, not just like go play sports, is one of the big reasons why I like minor league sports, because those guys aren't there for the money, especially like independent baseball. They're there to play a game they love. They're there for one more shot at the major leagues, and they're people. And it's fun getting to know those people. It's fun going and sitting down by the dugout and just chatting with the guys who are sitting on the bench during the ball game. It's fun getting to know them. It's fun saying, hey, let's get a group and hang out after the game, and we'll go out to say we have a independent baseball team that plays near us, and we've gone out to Applebee's with players after the game just because they're normal people. And that's the fun side of minor league sports, and that's why I almost like lean toward minor league sports. Like, big professional sports guy here, but I like minor league sports, and I hope to someday work in there to get to know the players and to be someone who works with the team just for like this kind of stuff even if I don't agree with you, I want to know that like there's people who do care about you and not just because you're some athlete and shut up and go play sports.
Right.
I went to the Steelers Jaguars game last year, and somehow accidentally ended up in the same hotel as the Steelers. I had no idea that this was going to happen, and then like I was so hungry, I was wandering around the hotel trying to find something to eat, and I ended up on the floor of where they were staying, and they were walking in. So I saw TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith and Cam Hayward, and they were so nice. You know, they waved even though there was COVID protocols. They didn't, come near us or anything like that, but they still waved and they were friendly. And then there was some lady who got upset that they wouldn't come sign things for us. And I think her exact words were, they should want to see us because we pay their salary.
That right there. And
I was so angry though.
Well, so here's the thing on the fans and then also players, because I've commented on both things that you've both said. I feel like there's entitlement with fans because, like you said, and I've witnessed this. I've never got to go to Steelers training camp. I've sadly have gone to many Browns training camps. Because my closest friend, I'm going to explain myself real quick. So the reason being,
I was like, get out.
Let me explain myself. So my closest friends at the time they're pretty much, I'm the only, in terms of my friends that I hang out with, I'm the only Steeler fan. Everyone else here are Browns fans, and it sucks. But I also look at it as I love the game of football that much, where it's still kind of cool to go and watch football because it gets you excited. And also I've played Xbox with two of the players, and it's cool. One of them, Rashard Higgins, actually knows who I am because we ran into each other again at a mall on Black Friday, and he remembered who I was.
That's so random.
Well, it was cool. And then I got to play also. I also played Xbox with David Njoku, their tight end. So it's probably the cool experiences, blah blah blah, and whatever. But I've witnessed entitlement with the fans. I've witnessed people, when they get mad when the players don't come over and sign, where they don't have to sign for you, Carol or Karen, whatever it is.
It wasn't an event. Like, you just happened to wander on the same hallway as them, coming from traveling. Who knows how long they've been traveling, and you're like, get over here right now.
Right. Yeah, that's an asshole thing. And going to what you said, Caleb, about, I think athletes at times can feel like they have some entitlement, where, and it goes to the fact of, say if you're player X and you're a really known, like, let's say for an example, I'll throw a name out there. I'll throw a baseball name at you. Josh Bell. Say for an example, he becomes big. He's a big star, blah, blah, blah. And then he starts to feel entitled. Well, I'm Josh Bell. I should get this and blah, blah. No, you're human. Yes, you play a sport. Yes, you make more money than me. Yes, your name is bigger. But you itself is not a bigger person. And I feel like you'll see athletes do that. And now I'm not saying Josh Bell is like that, because I've never met the damn man a day in my life.
Nice guy.
I've never been in the same state as Josh Bell. So I don't even know what he's doing in the league. How is he doing?
He's a bench bat for the Nationals.
He is now. Oh, I just remember him for the Pirates. See, that's how much I pay attention to them. For me, it's just the Indians.
I think, but like what you were saying, it has to be this almost like an exchange of power. Don't forget that before you were this huge athlete, you were still a regular person. You were, a 10-year-old kid at one point in time. You were, just going to high school and trying to show out in high school. You were you moved up all these levels, and that's not to, say that you don't have that skill or that you're not talented or you deserve to be that big, but don't forget where you came from.
Right.
But also, as fans, okay, yes, we buy tickets and we buy merchandise, but that doesn't entitle you to just popping up out from a hallway and saying they have to come over and sign all your stuff.
Yeah. And see, that's how I tend to follow players who are open and they're nice with fans. And I tend to follow more on that side of sports over like who can score a ton of touchdowns for my team, who can hit a bunch of home runs, because I'm in there for the people. I mean, I even do that on a smaller sense. I'm a middle school basketball coach because I feel that the way that high school players do is they're like, look at me, I'm this high school basketball player, I'm all that. And it like pushes out the younger guy. I'm there to support the younger guy. I'm there to support because I was once that younger guy. I was like everybody was once that younger guy. And I feel like more people need to remember the other side because and a lot of like there's some that do and some that don't. And I gravitate toward the ones that do remember the young kid fan, the one that stop and sign a ball and not just blow them off. Like those are like, it's a two-way street because those guys need to remember that they're not all that. And then people like us as fans need to not treat them like we pay your salary. Like you need to sign this for me or you're rude or blow stuff up. I mean, because who knows if that person is just having a terrible day. Like what if they're just having a bad day and they have to, or there's something else on their mind and like you need them right there in Walmart to sign a football for you or you're going to lose your mind. Like I like the open communication and open like narrative with players. I don't like how we need to, I'm not a just play football. Like I want to know more about you, not just go play football, shut up.
And then that turns into the thing that we talked about last week with like Juju. You know, he is more open about what he does with the community. He is more invested into himself as a person. And, you know, he tries to speak with other kids and he gets on and plays Fortnite with random people and does stuff like that. And I think that's a big reason why our generation gravitates towards him is it's because you want to be involved with us. We're not just people in seats in a stadium. You want to know us and you appreciate us. So we appreciate you and we want to know you.
You know what?
It's that exchange.
What's sad about that too is that's also good, but then you also see how people now call Juju a quote unquote villain of the NFL, here's my thing. And I think people that are saying that he's being negative, we got to take in the fact that he has the money. He may not necessarily be making a lot of money in terms of his NFL salary, but his endorsement deals are off the charts. He is a big name. He's young. He's happy with himself at life. He literally, you follow him on social media. He's always quote unquote lit.
He looks like he looks like somebody you want to be friends with.
Yeah.
Like he looks like somebody you want to just hang out with.
Right. He's looks like a cool dude, like a legit cool dude. And again, he also looks like he's about positivity as well. In a world that is so negative, in a world that is based on negativity, and I think two biggest faults to that is the Kardashians and social media. We live now in a world where it's so negative, it's so mean, it's so effortless to be mean. And then it goes back to he's being happy, he's being himself, he's doing what he wants to do while also making a boatload of money, and people are hating on him. Now,
because you're bitter about it.
Because us as Steelers fans, we're gonna love him, even though we've even seen Steeler fans go at him, which is even crazier. Because let the man live. Let the man do what he...
And he's still young. People are like, well, he's not a kid. No, but he's young, and he got thrusted, into the spotlight quickly.
Yeah. He came in the league at 20 years old.
So let him live his life. Like, he's not hurting anybody.
Yeah, he's not going out committing crimes. He's going out. He does stuff for the community. He goes out and I think one thing too is I think he's a true ambassador for the younger generation of football fans. Because look at what he's doing. He's big on TikTok. He's big on the stream and Twitch and YouTube and all that. He's doing he's connecting with the younger generation, which is great for the sport and for the brand, which is also something I think Major League Baseball needs to do. That could be a whole different subject in itself.
The Pens just got TikTok, though. So
who?
The Penguins. They just got TikTok. So moving on up.
moving on up. And also, and it's cool too with the fact that Chase Claypool has a TikTok as well. So, and I'm not just saying, oh, if you have a TikTok, blah, blah, blah. But
No.
But Chase Claypool is another one of those guys who is with those two being together, Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster being together, being the personalities they are, being the people they are they're great ambassadors for the younger generation, because Juju is a guy, and it's not like he's 6'6" and whatever. He's, I think, 6'1", 6'2", more average height. You have a lot better chance of being 6'1", 6'2", and he put into work. If you know his background, that'll help you out a lot in terms of learning about Juju. And then also one of my favorite things, the video that we've all seen of when he got drafted, when he starts crying in his mother's arms. It always makes me cry every time, just because he's finally getting to live his life. He's finally getting to get his family out of the lifestyle that they were living in terms of just not living the best lifestyle, not drugs or anything.
His mom is the same way too, though, because she's always sharing positive quotes and, body image positive things. It's okay to have anxiety. This is how you work through it. She's always pushing that positive outlook on social media, which again is reaching out to the kids. And I mean, I'm sure Caleb, you coach middle school. Is that what you said?
6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
That's a significant time in their life. So if they can look up to Juju, or they can look up to any of these athletes and see, it's okay to be honest about how I feel or what I'm going through or all these things. I mean, I think that could be life-changing for them.
Yeah.
And also too, and it goes back to, like we said, just be happy. Do what you want to do. Be happy and support others. If you can,
it's free. It's absolutely free.
Yeah, it's absolutely free to also support local, aka us as well. I had to do it, but no. In reality, it's good to go and support. To go and support your local restaurants or your local mom and pop shops, or your local food stands. There's nothing.
Your local minor league baseball team.
Your small businesses.
There, yeah. By the way, once we hit 100 subscribers here on YouTube, we're going to be doing a giveaway. DC4L clothing.
DC4L.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a giveaway with them where once we hit 100 subscribers, they're going to be giving away one of their shirts to our viewers. And you
can get a custom shirt. So you can order one that they already have, or you can get any shirt you want designed. Like they made this one for me.
I have a couple of their shirts that I've been looking at that I need to get. So they've been real supportive. We appreciate that.
They're so soft.
Yeah. Let me ask this, and I'm genuinely curious also for me, but also for the viewers. How do they fit? Do they fit true to size?
They fit, well, they have different options. They have like unisex, they have women, they have pre-shrunk. So you can just go on there. But the thing I love about them is their customer service is so great. You can actually send them a message on Twitter or Instagram or wherever, and they will respond to you. The owner responds to you. And, or whoever, their customer service. It's an actual person. It's not a bot. You can ask them anything you want, and they'll respond to you. And I love that, because you don't always get that.
Yeah, that's what you love. It is already time to go. Time goes
once again
by quick when you have fun. Caleb, how did you enjoy yourself on your debut episode of the Renegade Roundtable?
I'm already counting down till next week.
It sounds like he's been practicing that. Like he was like, what should I say if they ask me if I like it?
Yeah, he had that in the back.
No, to be honest, I just was like, no, I got to come up with something here. So no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking with you guys, getting a little into some sports here. So
real quick before we go, a little background between me and Caleb. All right, we met at our college graduation. me and my mom, we were taking pictures, and he came up nicely and said, "Hey, would you want pictures of me and my mom together?" And we were like, "Sure." So he took some pictures. We talked for a second, found out that he's a diehard Pittsburgh fan, and well, here we are.
So I asked for your Twitter and stuff, and then I saw in your Twitter that you had like a Steeler picture or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh, you're one of those, huh? Just to see how you react. And I'm like, I'm just messing with you. That's where all my family's from. And then we had a decent conversation from there, and here we are now.
Yeah. And then we also, Stone came into play because
I don't know how I got here. I'm like some random person that they picked up on the side of the road. I don't know.
Oh, on that note, thanks for everyone. No, I'm just kidding. No. No, you know what? It'll be great. I really want us all to like get together and go to a game. We're
going to. We're going to do it.
We'll figure
Let's
it
do
out
it.
and we'll announce it, and then you guys could come and say hi to us as well.
We can all dress alike.
That sounds like a plan.
Our custom T-shirts.
Yeah, we'll get custom T-shirts.
I'm going to get you guys fanny packs.
I love fanny packs. Please do it.
Who doesn't love a fanny pack? Anyways, look at Caleb.
Yeah.
I don't love a fanny pack.
Well, until then, thank you everyone for tuning in. Hell of a show. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Renegade_table. Make sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube. We're going to try to grow each and every day. Until then, have a great weekend. Peace out, and here we go.
Here we go.